right, we have all our speakers, so I'd like to welcome you all. Thank you all for being here. I hope everyone's having a great day. My name is Liam Moore. I'm the moderator for the talk today, which is about harnessing nature's gifts, a blueprint for renewable energy in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have a couple speakers today that are from St. Paul College, and if they're all ready, I'm excited to hear their talk.
Hi, my name is Falnyi Bitrus, and I'm here with two of my other teammates, which you will hear from shortly. Today we're going to be presenting a paper about transitioning a city to 100% renewable energy, and how we first got into writing this paper was that we participated in a competition called the AMATIC Research League competition last year. And the AMATIC stands for American Mathematical Association of Two-Year Colleges, and the Research League competition is essentially a competition that's based on mathematical research where students are engaged in some type of research and develop a mathematical model for a problem that is given. And this competition is done over a period of 18 days. So we had 18 days to work on our challenge problem. And last year it was to pick a city of our choice and transition that city's energy resources to 100% renewable energy. And as our moderator stated earlier, we chose the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico, as our city. So a little background information about Albuquerque is that it's located in the mid-northern region of New Mexico. Its population is a little over 500,000. And 40% of the state's population is in Albuquerque. And a big reason why we chose Albuquerque is because it has great potential for renewable energy, specifically solar, wind, and geothermal. So those are what we're going to be looking at in our paper, those three resources. First, we take a look at how we develop a model for 100% renewable 100% solar energy, 100% wind, and 100% geothermal. And then at the end of our paper, we propose a model for a mixture of all three. So first off, we're going to start by talking about the 100% renewable solar energy model. Oh, sorry. I forgot to mention when we did our paper, we found that CO2 emission is close to 3 billion kilograms, and this is the cost of electricity. Kilowatts per hour is 15.21 cents, and the average monthly residential bill is around $87. So anyway, let's get into solar.
Hi, my name is Geny, and I'll be talking about the solar part. So this is the first solution we found as renewable energy. And on this part, we're gonna focus on transitioning Albuquerque to a 100% solar energy. We have the solar panel we chose is the 325 watt one because it's a lot cheaper and it's easier to find and to install. It was very hard to find how much is the total consumption in energy in Albuquerque. So what we did is we chose I would call it a dummy number, and then we work on that because the purpose of our work is not to give actual numbers, it's more to show that renewable energy will be a lot cheaper for the city. So based on that, what we found is the total cost gonna end up with 281 million to install the system. And why it's gonna be 281 million is because first the solar panel price and how many solar panels we're gonna need to be able to give that much energy to the city. And for that much energy, we're gonna need about 6,705,000 panels, solar panels. We're also gonna need some worker, and according to the benchmark, one worker can install about 5 panels per day, and their salary in Albuquerque is $23.75 per hour. We're gonna also need engineers to install the system, and then per 100,000 panels, we need about 7 engineers, and the salary of electrical engineers or energy engineers in Albuquerque is about $96,000 a year. So all the workers gonna end up gonna cost 63 million, about almost 64, and then the engineers gonna be about $46 million a year. I also forgot to mention that we did our work based on a total deployment on a 1 year. So it's gonna be a 1 year work. But of course, we also know that things happen and then you can have some delays. And that's why we have this X there for unexpected cost, because maybe during the transportation, some panel can be destroyed. They're gonna need to renew these panels. Things happen. So that is the X next to the $281 million. Thank you.
Hi. So for next, I'm gonna talk about geothermal energy. And so as mentioned earlier, if you look at the map, Albuquerque has a lot of great potential for geothermal energy. I will say though, finding information about geothermal energy was a bit hard, probably because it's a relatively new renewable energy source, and not many people, especially in the United States, use it. So we relied a lot on AI, Perplexly AI. I don't know if you've guys heard. It's kind of it's an AI that helps with calculations and making estimates of things when you give it data. So doing our research, we found that Albuquerque has very harsh winters and very hot summers, and as a result, a great amount of its heating and cooling consumes a lot of the total amount of energy produced. So our idea was first, okay, let's produce use geothermal heat pumps for heating and cooling for that amount of energy used. And we quickly found out that actually it was quite expensive actually to install. As you can see, it's a little over $1.5 billion for the homes, for heating all of the homes in Albuquerque. So we decided to scratch that idea and to produce energy by geothermal heat plants, and those are a little more expensive. And so using our Perplexity AI with the cost of the cost how much it costs for geothermal heat plants to produce the energy required to support the city of that size and the number of homes, we found out that the total cost would be close to 500 million. And again, these are just estimates, not exact numbers.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gozel, and I'm going to present how wind energy can be one of the beneficial renewable energy sources for New Mexico. New Mexico's total and-state electricity generation comes primarily from renewable sources. So, wind power alone accounted for 35% of total in-state generation in 2022. And wind energy supplied more power than coal for the first time at that time. And we found out that a solution to improving wind power reliability is by interconnecting wind power. In other words, by linking several wind farms together, it's possible to improve the overall performance of the system significantly compared to each individual farm. And we learned that standard residential wind turbines produce between 700 to 1700 kilowatts per month on average. It depends on turbine type, height, and local wind speeds. And typical home in the United States uses between 900 to 1000 kilowatts per month for electricity. So it shows that most onshore commercial wind turbines, which produce between 800,000 to 1 million kilowatts per month, can power up to between 850 to 1,000 homes. So large ones even can power thousands of homes. So our idea was to use interconnected farm of GE 1.5 megawatts with 77 meter blade diameter of 80 meter hub heights. And we used Excel to generate a regression line of the power generated depending on the wind speed. We decided to create a system of interconnected farms for Albuquerque only, and our model can be adjusted if existing wind turbine characteristics are known. After our calculations, we came to conclusion that 15 turbines will be needed for the whole system installation, and the cost of that will be between the range of 39 million to 62 millions. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now I'm gonna be talking about the design proposal. Of course, it's not gonna be easy to install everything at the same time. So it will be easier to start with solar, going with wind, and end up with geothermal after. And in the next slide, I will show you why. Solar energy. Falnyi, can you change the slide? Okay, solar energy is a lot easier to deploy because they can literally install solar panels everywhere on the side of houses, on the ground. It really doesn't matter as long as there is sunset. Solar panels can work, so that's why it's way easier to install. After that, they can go with wind energy. And why wind energy? Wind energy, because wind energy is still more easier to install deploy down geothermal systems, because geothermal system usually need to be installed under the houses, and it's gonna be hard to come and then go in someone's house and knock at the door, be like, we need to install a new system under your houses. It'll be just easier to do wind systems. And for the wind systems, they're gonna need to find new locations, and then new location with enough wind, of course. And one challenge would be maybe they will have to move some peoples. And they will also maybe will have to move some animals, and that's why it's not really good for the environment. And then that's one of the challenges they would face for sure. For the geothermal, as I mentioned above, the installation is not a problem, but it needs to be there before the actual construction. So what they can do with the geothermal is install the geothermal for the new construction, like maybe the next houses they will be building over the next years, or in public spaces like parks. Geothermal will be a very good system there. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a lot more information about geothermal because there is not a lot of resource about Albuquerque on that specific system online. Now for the financing is we came with a 10-year financing because in New Mexico in general, public financing is 3.5 interest rate per year. And then I said it both, solar energy will cost 281 million, and after 10 years and 3.5 interest rate per year, they will have to pay about 380 million over these 10 years, which come to 37,903 and $500 a year, which is a lot cheaper than how much costs electricity right now in Albuquerque. Just in 1 year, they need $550,000, $50 million, sorry. And it's gonna be a lot cheaper over the years once they pay off that money. Also for the wind's gonna end up at almost 8.4 million a year, which is a lot cheaper also. And what showed the more that is way cheaper is based on the population of Albuquerque. With the solar energy, every single person would just need to pay $67.65 a year every single year, and after 10 years, that single person will pay off all the city for the installation of this new system. And for the wind energy, you're gonna be just for $14.81. And we said it above, per household it is $85. So these systems are way cheaper. And then, but we also know that not everyone has the money, and it would be unfair for someone who make, for example, 100,000 a year to pay the same amount as someone who make maybe 10,000 a year. So they can maybe scale it based on income. That would be another solution too. And that's it. Thank you.
Environmental impact analysis. So the operation of a solar farm doesn't contribute to carbon dioxide emissions. In fact, an acre of solar panels can offset more emissions each year than an acre planted with trees can do that. But there will be some initial carbon dioxide emissions associated with the construction of a solar farm. But the ongoing operation of the solar farm results in a significant net reduction in the carbon dioxide emissions, which is really good. And the fact that current Albuquerque electricity consumption creates close to like 3 billion kilograms of carbon dioxide, our model shows a significant improvement in that number. In terms of geothermal energy, it has just minimal effects on the environment and requires almost no maintenance. The only issue is the organisms and fungi living in the area will have to be displaced during the drilling and installation process. Yeah, that's it. But geothermal system that generates close to 6 billion kilowatts of energy would emit close to 216 million kilograms of carbon dioxide, assuming that the materials and waste generated during the manufacturing process are recycled. So this is also a substantial improvement over fossil fuels. In terms of wind turbines, it can be on the way of migrating or flying birds, but there are like ways of preventing it. First is mapping the location of migrating birds, which can help to avoid collision with them. Also, taller turbines with shorter blades results in fewer bird deaths and other negative impacts. The third option is high-tech systems. For example, a system that scans for radio frequency of tagged birds, and it stops the turbine blades when a bird is detected nearby. It has been implemented at the Tehachapi Wind Resource Area in California already. Next page, please. So the urgency of transition is very important because there are many, despite the fact that there are many environmental costs that come with 100% renewable system, there are also many significant environmental benefits. One of them is the reduction of air pollution and green gas emissions. As we mentioned before, the Albuquerque city emits close to 3 billion kilograms of carbon dioxide, and that amount is expected to be reduced to 52% upon transitioning to 100% renewable energy. And upon our research, we found out that fossil fuels and bioenergy causes close to 7.4 million air pollution deaths per year worldwide. And also, fossil fuels are such a limited resources, and leads to increasing energy prices over time, which in turn results in economic, political, and social instability. Therefore, transitioning to renewable energy will improve the quality of the air, which gonna lead to improved health of the citizens and the environment. Besides, there will be many job employment opportunities, which also will improve the health, education, and gender equality and environment safety. As a conclusion, I would like to say that our design of roadmap for transitioning Albuquerque to 100% renewable energy, which was leveraged by a combination of solar, wind, and geothermal energy sources. It can, by implementing our proposed strategies, Albuquerque can achieve energy independence, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and also foster a more sustainable future for its residents. In addition to the environmental advantages, as we mentioned before, transitioning to 100% renewable energy in the city would also have significant economic benefits, such as numerous job opportunities, which in turn stimulates the local economy and reduces unemployment rates. Also, I would like to mention that relying on renewable energy sources can reduce cities' dependence on fossil fuels, which in turn are subject to price fluctuations, and thus providing greater stability and cost savings for residents and other businesses alike. Yeah, thank you. Is there any questions for us, please?